am Sarah Weiss of Passion and Pickleball. Welcome to the Spanglish World Networks on Zingo TV, channels 249, 250, and 251. You can download the Zingo TV app on iOS and Android app stores. Don't forget to rate and leave a comment. This app is free and is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also Smart TVs 2016 and on. So, guys, I play pickleball. Go figure. What I want to say about what I've learned from pickleball is to not limit myself. Limit your limitations. Something that I've kind of done in my whole life is break the barriers. You know, society likes to kind of say what we can and cannot do. I don't like to listen to them. I'm like a rebel like that. I kind of like to go beyond what everyone says I'm capable of. So I kind of encourage people to stop limiting, putting that glass ceiling above where they think they belong. Playing in pickleball, I coach a lot of people, and a lot of people kind of, when I ask them, what's your goal? What do you think you can do and accomplish in this sport? And a lot of people go, well, I think I can probably be a 4.0. I think I can probably XYZ. And I always ask, why do you think that's as far as you can go? Well, I saw this person, I know this, and I know that. And maybe true. Maybe they'll only get to why get stuck thinking that you have to limit yourself there? If you've ever heard of the story, it's not a story, it's actually research that's been done. If you put a flea in a jar and you put a lid on it, the flea will hit the lid. And then eventually, if you take that lid off, the flea is not going to jump out. Even though it could, it believes there's a lid and it limits itself and it never jumps out of the jar. That's what we do as humans as well. We adopt these limitations that people put on us, and then we do not even try to break the limit. I, on the other hand, don't listen to anybody. And I jump as high as I can possibly go. Whether you have a lid, I'll try and bust through that lid. And I encourage all of you to do that, not just in pickleball, but in your life. Stop limiting yourself, limit your limitations. And with that, I am going to invite our special guest, Michelle Esquivel, a pro MLP player, someone who most people who play this sport, especially if you've been playing for longer than 3-4 years, you know this OG veteran, Michelle Esquivel, an incredible female player. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hey, Sarah, that was an awesome intro. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. For those of you who are used to this show, you see I look like I'm ready to go jump on the court. I actually just jumped off the court and just threw myself in front of the camera. I didn't prepare the opening segment, and then in the last second, I'm like, okay, what am I going to speak about? And it's about limitations. So I kind of just threw that together. So don't mind me. Michelle, you clearly have broken through any limits that society put above you. And that's why you're here. That's why you've done some amazing things in pickleball. If you'd like, why don't you share some of your awesome accomplishments? You can be as egotistical as you want on this one. Share it all. What's your favorite accomplishments you've accomplished in the sport?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I've been doing this for quite some time. Found the sport back in 2014. But obviously my favorite thing is growing the sport. And if you took a time machine back to 2014, everyone said, what is pickleball? Like, what's pickleball? What the heck is that? And explaining it to people every single day was a huge, blessing, or I don't know what to say. I feel like it was just such a great thing to do, is just explain what the sport was to people and get them on the court. And finally, look at where we are today, where I tell people, hey, I play pickleball. They're like, wow, I love that sport. Or, oh yeah, my grandparents play, or, oh, I'm getting my kid into it. So I think that's like the biggest accomplishment, is helping the growth of the sport. Not so much being a pro. I mean, that's great. And I love competition. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
You're so modest.
It's been fun. I love competing, but I was a PE teacher, I was a tennis coach, and my motto was, let's get people on, like, sweating and having fun and make it diverse and inclusive. And then pickleball just kind of fit all of those things, and it was just really easy to get into it, as I'm sure everyone feels like that. So yeah, it's been great.
I know what you mean, feeding people the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Come to the dark side. Tennis players come to the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
We love it. We love it. And, you've obviously done that for a lot of people who've done it for others. You kind of the ripple effect universe. And I know some people, I'll run into people who have mentioned your name and are so happy that they've ran into you. One of my friends just met with you in Mexico, and she was
Oh,
so glad she did. So, actually, tell us about Mexico. What was that about?
oh yeah, yeah. So pickleball getaways is such a cool thing. Like if you love pickleball and you love pickleball and you love pickleball, just kidding. You should go on a getaway where you play all the time. You get instruction in the morning. We provide a really good resort so that you could eat and be comfortable. So you could just go to the court, shower, eat, come back, shower, eat, come back. So
The
it's
dream.
yeah, it is a dream. It's a really cool vacation. You know, people work a lot and they don't have the time, or maybe it's cold where they are right now. So people go on these getaways and they meet 80 other players and they meet 7 to 8 different coaches each trip. And it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Pickleball Getaways has been around since 2018. It's Ben Johns's and Deckled Bar's baby. So they, started it out back then, and I've been hanging along with them as a coach, and sometimes I lead and help out. And so I've been doing that for the last few months, going on the Mexico getaways trip, and it's been a blast. It's been great.
I love it. I love it. Who doesn't like to mix tropical vacation and pickleball? I mean, mwah, right?
It's
On top of, meeting the Michelle Esquivels and Deckel Bar and Ben Johns, like it's amazing. It's a dream come true. At the end of the show, I'd love for you to share how people can get in touch with you about that. Cause I mean, again, to be able to experience that, that's almost like a once in a lifetime opportunity, but maybe do it twice.
gosh, the great thing about it is that it's Deckel's baby. Let's be honest, and he does such a great job at getting the coaches and organizing, and we have great people, working on the trip. But we have a lot of returners. A lot of returners. I want to say like 70% of each trip is returning students. So we're doing something right. And then when they return, they bring like their whole neighborhood. They bring like their whole club with them, and so it's a lot of fun. It becomes like a little family, and getting to see students over is really great because it's hard to do right now since I'm doing a lot of competition. But being able to see people and coming back, it's just really neat. I love it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the sport. We want everyone to play because we know how it feels. It feels so good. Like, I mean, anyone who's watched my show knows that it like saved me from burnout. And I had a very good career life coaching, but I was burning out, giving, giving, giving. And then when pickleball showed up, it was like I was free again. And all I could think of is like, I know so many people who this could help and save and free as well. So, and me being selfish, I need partners and I need people to play against and beat. So get over here. Ah, I love it. Thank you so much for doing that and for sharing this with so many people. I actually usually the first question I ask anyone is why pickleball. We kind of skipped right over that, but I really want to know why pickleball, Michelle. Why?
Yes, yeah. I mean, seriously, the first time I went onto a court, I didn't know anything about it. Like I said, a tennis friend brought me to the courts. I like keep saying he brought me to church, and it was really cool. There was 10 courts dedicated in Tustin, California, and I feel like it was like maybe 8:30 in the morning, and there was all 10 courts were packed with people waiting. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, why, what's going on? Like what are all these people doing here? Like, what is this? I don't understand. And from the first hit, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's fun. It's inclusive. It's diverse. Anyone's playing. I'm playing with like, like my 80-year-old grandma and then like my 10-year-old nephew. You know what I mean? So it just makes you feel a part of a community, which is always an amazing feeling to have. And being able to share the court and be so close to one another. Tennis court feels like huge compared to pickleball court, and laughing and shooting the shit back and forth, and it's just great. I love it. It's a really beautiful sport. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's like it's tight knit. Like you said, that tennis court, you're like yelling at your friend across the net. With pickleball, you guys are all up there. We're all up there hanging out. So I've made a lot of lifelong friends, and I'm assuming you have as well.
Yeah, I've met some really cool people, and if it weren't for pickleball, who knows what my life would look like right now. I mean, and we could say that about pretty much everyone. I think it's been like such a big thing in people's life, and they're aware of it and they're willing to like grow the community, which is why it's so neat. You don't see a lot of that anywhere else. So you gotta love that. You gotta support the sport.
Or the sport. It's like a phenomenon and it's just expanding so quickly. I've only been playing for 3 years, and the amount it's grown in that 3 years alone is mind blowing. And I mean, the game's evolving quickly. The
Yes,
younger generations are coming in and they're hitting hard and fast. If you
yes.
get a chance to like see a tournament, anyone who's watching, go check it out. Go watch what this is about. We all think, I mean, we used to think, and not anymore, but it was for the retired people and the older people. But no, not anymore. The average age continues to go lower and lower. And like I said, these young guns are hitting hard, they're hitting fast, and they're athletes. Like, this is not your grandma's sport anymore. Although she can play and she might kick your butt. Most likely she will. Yeah.
So true,
So
Sarah. So true.
yeah, and that's what motivates you. That's what motivated me. I got my butt kicked by some, old Barbara and Doris, wearing knee braces and elbow braces, and I'm like, I can't let that happen again. I gotta get good at this. And then you get good enough to beat them, and then you move on to a whole other level of the older folks that are even better. It's like, okay, well, they're just everywhere. What would you say the sport has done for you personally? What's the greatest benefit you've gotten out of it?
Oh yeah, well, back when my friend introduced me, I was going through a rough time. I had just lost my mom. I'm the only child. I was really close to her. It was all really sad and shitty. And finally, I was able to, laugh and kind of like smile, and then get back into reality, which was like, okay, I have to move on with my life, and this is what my mom would have totally loved for me, and like just to be happy and to enjoy sport. I've always been a very active, tennis player my whole life. So I felt like, okay, this could really, get me back, into being alive. And yeah, I was in a really dark place. So I'm very thankful for the sport and where it's gotten me. Like I said, I never imagined I would become a pro or get into it, but I wanted to find a way to get into the community more and more and more. And the only way was to travel and play these tournaments and find out what other states were doing. Because at that time, it was like, ooh, there's a national tournament. Oh, there's the U.S. Open. Oh, you could, go to Hawaii and play. And so figuring out what was out there was the funnest thing I've ever done in my life. Like just kind of like really getting into it and meeting the legends like Chris Miller, Jen LaCour, Alex Hamner, like all these players that were around even before me. And I'm considered an OG. It's been such a treat. And it's been really cool to just kind of see where it's been going. So, yeah.
Yeah. You've done so much already. It's amazing. But I gotta say, I got goosebumps listening to your story. Uh, I've had many guests on this show, and I guess the producer was saying it's been almost 6 months, and it's time. It's flying by. It's so crazy. I have such amazing guests, and so many of them have touched on how this has impacted their lives positively, and many go as far as saying this saved their lives.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that. A
Yeah.
lot of people need this, and that's one of the big reasons why I love sharing it so much.
Mhm.
Is that life's not easy sometimes. We get these curveballs. Sometimes it's really heavy, and it can take us down a path. One of my guests, he was struggling with major addictions, and ended up in a wheelchair. And this is what got him out of the wheelchair and got him living his life again. So I want to thank everyone who comes on it and shares the life-changing stories, and anyone who's watching. If you're experiencing something heavy like that you're having a hard time getting out of bed sometimes and being your lively self, like sometimes we lose ourselves and it's like, what's happening to me?
Mhm.
This can change that. And
Yes.
it's done so for countless people,
Mm.
countless people. Do you have any stories of people you've met?
My gosh, I've met so many amazing people. I want to say in the thousands. Um, and these getaway trips, like I said, you kind of like find, family on these trips because you're hanging out with them for a week and you're getting to know different people. But there's a couple stories. One of my students, Tom Asbell, had a stroke, and he was on these trips and he was great. And he was on a mission to recover so he could join us in a trip to Slovenia. And he was there and he was with his cane and he was, in it. And it like, it helped him because he already found pickleball, right? And he wanted to continue to enjoy pickleball. He wasn't done. And he wanted to go on this trip and he was able to do so with his significant other, which was really sweet. And so that was really touching. And I met Nancy and Al. And Al, right now, I want to give a huge shout out to Al because he just found out he has lung cancer. And but he has a community, supporting him, and we're all reaching out to him, and we're all like on his case, like, hey, are you okay? Like, what's the update? When's the surgery? What's going on? And we stay in touch, and it's just, it keeps people, like motivated. It keeps people in it. If you know what I mean. So those are just a couple of stories, but there's literally hundreds of other people I met. So many cool people who are sharing the same type of story that I went through, right? And then there's people who are going through cancer right now. I've done, an auction for a clinic to help heart disease awareness. Like, there's just so many cool things. Like, I feel like I've been able to be a part of. Right now, we're doing Pickleball Cares where they're giving away free stuff to these kids who enroll. They're giving out like this paddle, this cool clinic with all these pros. And I don't even know if these kids understand what that is or what's going on, but just being there for their first, experience in pickleball, that to me is rewarding, and so there's just been too many cool things, but those are just kind of like the highlights in my mind right now that really stand out. So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, yeah. And it was Al, right? Was his name? Al.
Wow.
This one's for
Mm-hmm.
you, Al. We send you so much love, good luck, and strength. You got this. And
Thank you, Sarah.
wow, this
Nice.
this sport really is a great way to give back to communities, like you're saying. And I'm seeing it pop up all over the place. And for the people who love to give back, there's so many ways to bring this to people's lives. And like you're hearing between myself and Michelle, a lot of people get this massive benefit health wise, mental health, emotional health, physical health. So this sport is so much more than just some game, some hitting a ball over the net. It's something that literally hits home and helps you come out of your shell, helps you be more social, helps you get physically active, cardiovascular health, emotional well-being, and the mental well-being. I mean, this is like such a beautiful sport that came and started to get bigger at such a beautiful time. It really started to explode during the pandemic, which is when I found out
Right.
about it. And that's when a lot of people were like, I need something or I'm going to go insane. And this was the thing. This was it.
Yeah, I remember during the pandemic, my boyfriend and I, Rob Cassidy, we were kind of like stuck, and we were like, well, how can we, teach, but not, because people were still kind of like, I don't want to go, I don't want to meet it or be close to people, but there were these players in these communities that were like, can you come teach where we are? Can you come do a clinic? And we went everywhere. I want to say like maybe like 20 to 25 different states driving because we couldn't fly. And we would go around doing these clinics, and we had so much fun introducing the sport. There were a lot of intro clinics. At that time, there weren't a lot of places where you could even learn the sport. So that probably is another thing on another one of the cool things on my list with pickleball was being able to, go out and do all these clinics and interact with all these people and going and then saying, hey, I remember our clinic and now I'm addicted thanks to you. And I love hearing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Love that.
One of my
So,
biggest things is telling people to just say yes more. And when you get an opportunity, if you have an opportunity to play this sport and you haven't yet, just say yes already. I'm telling you, it'll be the biggest not regret if you don't. And I hear it from everyone. It's like the moment they played, they were hooked. There's a reason.
yes.
It's just so fun.
So why do you think people say no? Why do you think they're trying to deny it so much?
I mean, it used to be because, well, I'm not old enough to play this sport. That was the big one. You probably heard that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's people like us, especially ladies like us, that show people, no, this is for everyone. This is, and you can have fun and you can get competitive. So I think the age was the typical response. Now I hear it mainly from the tennis players. They're like, it's not good enough. I like tennis. It's real. Pickleball's like, fake tennis. Like
My former boss over at the tennis academy I used to work at, I was trying to get him to like just made a couple points and he was just not gonna budge, and he loves his sport so much. Tennis is his love, and I understood it entirely because tennis was my first love. And like I still haven't been able to get him on the court. I'm trying to tell him like, hey, like, I'll kick your butt, or but it's got to be at the right time. Can't force it, right? But continue to encourage it, and see what you could do.
yeah. What do you say to anyone who's hesitant about getting on the court? What do you say?
Well, that's my first question is like, why? Why don't you want to try it? And you wouldn't believe the answers. Like, some people feel like some people are intimidated, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't even know like what to do. And it's like, well, like, there's this intro class, or there's these people that had just starting, I'll join in with them, or so kind of like scared, and like that type of personality. That's one thing. And another thing is like, and they're too good, and like, you can't argue with someone with that kind of mentality, right? You just go, okay, well, I'm pretty good, you might want to challenge me and see where you're at. And so I try to, my best to kind of like find the button, right?
Yeah.
So
Challenge them. Yeah. Yeah. Again, when you get your butt kicked, that's a motivator. It's a big motivator.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It
Good,
motivated
good.
me.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. And I want to see everyone as happy as I am. I mean, it's funny because like I don't want to like hold it all to myself. I want to share the happiness. I want people to experience what I'm experiencing. So sometimes it's like I got to jab at them. Trust me, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Totally.
So you do all kinds of things with pickleball, though. It's not just playing pro. What are some of the other things in this sport, in this arena, in this community that you do? I know we've kind of touched on a couple, but yeah, expand on that list.
Sure. So aside from doing pickleball getaways, which I love teaching, I've done quite a few things. I've worked with Engage as an instructor, Engage pickleball camps. I've worked at Naples Pickleball Center as a resident pro. I've done clinics there. As I mentioned before, pickleball, I was a tennis instructor and coach. So my main thing was, hey, I want to teach this at one point. And I love teaching. I love teaching so much, and I love coaching, and I also love learning new things, because even Ben Johns, right, number one player, he could also improve, right? So just kind of learning different things from different players, different coaches has been my thing. And one of my, I guess, not hobbies, but one of the things that I just recently got into is Main Court. So Main Court is an app where it connects players, and it's not just connecting players, but it's also like getting your groups together, right? If you're the coordinator, you'll love this app, right? It's also finding new players within your community you might have never met before. So I've been consulting on the app. I didn't create it, I didn't do it. That's David's job. Shout out to David. But yeah, I've been consulting and helping him out. And now we're trying to find coaches so that they could go on the app and look for lessons. So players could look for lessons and get on the court and find new skills to work on. So it's been great. I love it. It's just released. The app just released a couple weeks ago, and in San Diego, I think we have over 600, 700 players on the app now, and people are connecting and they're loving it, because it's like Facebook for pickleball, kind of. It's like a combination of Facebook and WhatsApp and Team Reach. I don't know. It's just so great. It's all pickleball only, so that's fun. And yeah, you just connect with the players that you already know, or find new places to play. Or there's so many things you could do on the app. I can't even like put it into one sentence, right? It's just
Yeah. Honestly, if you haven't checked it out, we'll share a referral link. I have it as well, so we'll get you on there. Just check it out, though. It's in the App Store, main court. It is really, really cool. It is a great community. You know, like she said, Michelle said, it combines everything about what you want in pickleball, from, you know, just meeting with people, finding where the open plays are happening, having your group that knows when they're meeting, where they're meeting, finding coaches in your area, all these amazing things. So I'm really glad you brought it up, because I love the app. It's really, really cool. So
I
definitely get it.
love
And
it.
you love coaching. So there's like, there's not enough coaches. Basically, is what I want to say. Everyone wants to learn how to play this, and they want to play better. So if you ever have a chance to learn from Michelle, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. You're in the San Diego area, if I'm not mistaken.
I am in the San Diego area, but you could find me on the pickleball getaways trips. That's where I do my coaching. Just because now that the mergers happened, I'm going to be traveling everywhere to tournaments again.
Yes, yes, that's big news, everyone. MLP and PPA have finally merged. The Wild West is going to calm down for a little bit. What was that like? What was that like, Michelle?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I've seen this happen every year since 2020. So it hasn't been like a big surprise or shocker to me, but you definitely have to have a lot of patience as a professional pickleball player right now, because, there's a lot of things are being worked out. You know what I mean? And it's no one's fault but the growth of the sport. So, having these two tours combine and work together is a huge deal. I hope it works out. I'm very optimistic about this, because there's been so much going on. I mean, the APP also, I was playing on the APP tour at one point, PPA, MLP, all three, for goodness sake. And you just kind of have to be patient and take it one day at a time. If you're an aspiring pro, enjoy the journey. It's a lot of things will piss you off because it feels weird or not right or not the way you would want it. But just got to remember that the pro community is also a community, right? That's trying to work itself out. So it's been interesting to say the least.
There's
As
no
far as
drama, is there?
what's that?
There's no drama, right? No drama.
Drama all day, every day in pro pickleball. But
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's fun to watch.
oh yeah, it's so much fun to watch. And
Yeah.
I when I'm not playing or if I'm done and I'm out, I am a fan. I'm out there with my cowbell, I'm out there with my signs, because look, it's so much fun. Like, even if I'm not the one, competing, I want to see the best out there, and I want to see how the game is played, and I want to just kind of like be in it, and it's such a fun sport to watch if you're with the right people in the crowd and you have a beverage, and it's a great time. I enjoy being a fan more than I do pro players.
It's a great environment, and it's nice to, like, I'm like a belligerent cheerer. If I know the person I'm cheering for, I'm like, yeah. Everyone else is like,
Right.
I love it. I love it. I love being that supportive. Like, I speak to the people. Sometimes you got to speak. Like, do you like people cheering for you? Because not everyone likes that. There was this team I was cheering for one time. They looked at me. They're like, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. I'm done.
Oh
I'll go watch someone else. No offense
yeah.
taken, but I love to cheer. I love to be loud. So that's always fun.
Who is your
Yeah.
favorite pro player to watch?
Elise Jones, gotta say, she's such a firecracker.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, super cool. Like, especially when she plays with like a taller mixed doubles partner and she jumps up to hit their chest. I'm just like, yes.
Yes, her energy is amazing. Like, she's always like positive. She's always in it. She's just so great, and she gets to everything, and she dives. And she's been a lot of fun to watch for sure. I would probably agree with you.
Yeah, I love it. Oh man, when she goes down, she gets up. She's so quick. She'll go down 3 or 4 times in one rally. It's God. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. What about, so who's your favorite male player?
Male player. Oh gosh. Well, I have Rob, so he's my favorite male player. Rob Cassidy,
Yeah, but you
obviously.
have to say that.
I have to say, and he's the most entertaining guy out there. That's for sure. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's been really cool seeing like James Ignatowicz coming up. I like watching him play. I don't
Mm.
know. I just feel like I like watching like some drama. Like I like when like people don't shake hands. Maybe Julian is probably up
I
there.
was gonna say Julian Arnold. Andiamo!
So there's always something going on there, and I don't know. I like a little bit of drama because the emotions are real, right?
Oh yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it, especially if you're there in person for sure.
When you feel like the line hook, oh, this
Watching James Ignatowicz called on hindrance just for
oh,
his split steps. I was like, what's happening? Oh my god, that's so good. I love it. I love it. There is drama,
that
and the drama makes it interesting. It
yeah,
does.
it does because everyone talks about it and they're like, "Did you see that?" And I feel like we're seeing so many new things happening in the sport, like that call. Like no one's ever seen a call like that ever. No one's really seen like like I can't wait till there's real like I wouldn't say like disciplined, but I want to say disciplined lines people out there, you know what I mean? Who are really like, out there to do their job. Like you can't, go wrong by, calling the lines and
Yeah.
there's
I
been
know
so
a
good.
I know a
Yeah.
head coach, or a head referee, sorry, and
Mhm.
he's got his work cut out for him. Not gonna lie, like the stress that he's got to deal with, and he's had some drama. He's made some big calls on big players, and they didn't
Yes.
like it. So
And there's just personalities. Like the pros are some pros are very intimidating, and I've seen them go say, "Hey, what do you mean, ref?" And that's intimidating for a ref. And so just keeping the respect out there is it's been tough because, like I said, those emotions and there's money on the line, and there's sponsors and all these deals, and now it's not just pickleball anymore. Now it's like your life. So
yeah.
it's been fun to watch. Not gonna
What
lie.
about you? Have you experienced some drama on the court with bad calls and stuff? Any story you want to share?
All the time. I mean, I remember I was at the Las Vegas Plaza back in the day, and I remember I was watching the finals, and I want to say it was mixed, and Corinne Carr was playing with like Zane Affleck, and I think it was like Ben Johns and Christine McGrath or something. And there was those line people out there and they were sleeping. A couple of them were sleeping and a couple of them weren't paying attention. And I was like, oh no. And then there was this big call, this moment where it was like game point. There was a call that was out and then they were like, are you sure? And then we look at the lines guy and didn't know what, didn't even see it. Oh, those were the days. And that's why we don't have lines people's because it's been tried before and it hasn't been good experiences on the pros or on the refs. So that's not happening anytime soon. But I mean, that's kind of a fun story. I'll
Well,
never forget.
I actually am friends with a guy who creates technology for sports, like line tracking cameras and stuff like that. And he was like, we make this stuff, but honestly, if pickleball is going to be more exciting to watch, we don't want this stuff. We like that there's drama over line calls. Like that's what the viewer is enjoying, actually. So I was like, that is a really good point because I would have thought it's like, yeah, we need to make sure that these are getting called properly, but there's drama and the people like the drama.
Oh
So
my, yeah. The MLP or Nationals, this last one in Dallas, Texas, there was drama every day. Like I don't know, I think like Fed said something to Anna Lee, and then Anna Lee kind of reacted or something. I don't know. And then the next day, I hear something about AJ Kohler, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like this is crazy. And
yeah,
then you look over the other court, and I hear like Sarah like like messed up her ankle. She like an injury. Like there was just like everywhere we looked or anything that happened, like there was something going on, and I was like, what is going on right now? This is a lot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, luckily Sarah Ansbury is on the mend. She was actually playing in our private court, I don't know, a couple weeks back, and she's good. She wasn't going for every ball. If we lobbed it, we didn't lob her, but if we did, she was going for it. But she's doing so much better, which is crazy because if you look at the video or the pictures, her ankle was like, eh. So
oh, yeah, it was pretty bad, and I, God, that was so bad because Bobby sure was her partner, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Bobby was kind of like freaked out, didn't know what to do, and this is the thing, you know, like we're still not, we don't even have a protocol for scenarios like that. Like I don't know how long it was until someone got to her, like you know what I mean. So we're just, I think we're all just still figuring it out, and but it's been great seeing like the transformation from back then and into now, and there's still a lot of things we've got to work on, but that's the fun of being a pioneer in this
yes,
time. And
yes.
like, and we're all pioneers, not just the pros, but the amateurs and the refs and volunteers and ambassadors. We're all trying to figure it out, and we all want the best. So we're all working really hard for it. Anyways, blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, but it's true, and I mean, we've got the pickleball forum on Facebook is one of the bigger ones in the kitchen, and that's where the drama is just stewed upon. Stewed upon the memes that come out of that group. Like anyone who follows pickleball, join the pickleball forum, join the kitchen, and you can watch it all. Like if you miss anything, it ends up on there minutes later. Minutes later,
Yes.
like one of the more recent things that happened was a commentator mentioned something about mothers who have one child versus mothers who have two children. And I mean, I don't know who she is, and I have no hate or negativity, but the drama that was created over it.
It was a lot because everyone's listening, and poor Laura, like she, you know, as a commentator, because I've helped commentate early on back in the days, and Rob does commentating as well. You don't have any type of information there for you, so you just kind of start talking, and you know, you kind of say things that come off as something that you're not, you know what I mean? You don't know who you're talking to. So that was rough. That was rough. And you know, I know Laura, so that was hard to see that. And but I mean, that's where we are right now. We're all like so into it. And so
It's
that's how
like primordial ooze, the pickleball. It's still like it's not matured yet. It's very in its infancy still. And when something happens, people go, ah!
they freak out a little bit. It's because we're so used to seeing everything established. Like tennis is established. You watch any kind of broadcasting on any other sport, they're established, and pickleball is
Yeah.
just brand new. And so everyone's still trying to, like I said, figure it out. What's the best for pickleball? Like a lot of pickleball players have a lot to say, right? They have a lot of things to
A
say.
lot of
So
opinions, yes.
opinions, and you just got to remember it's pickleball.
Not take it so serious. Like not taking life so serious would be one of my biggest pieces of advice to anybody. Stop taking it so freaking serious.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
supposed to be.
yeah. It's you know, it's funny because like as an amateur or as like a player, a rec player, like I wish I could be in that place where they're at, because they're having so much fun and laughing at everything that's happening. And now that you know I'm doing this for a living, I'm a little bit more, you know, competitive and a little bit more serious. And sometimes like things happen, and I'm like, I could laugh at that. That's okay. You know what I mean? And just because I've worked really hard to be where I'm at today, I forget, like, oh my gosh, like chill out. This is pickleball. Remember that. So
Breathe.
yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have earned it. You've earned that right to take it seriously. And, then when there's money on the line, there's a career on the line. Like, actually, that leads into a good question for anyone who gets into this sport and is like, how can I make this my whole life, my living, make it full time, whether I'm pro or not? What kind of advice would you give to somebody who loves it so much that basically wants to say, I hate my 9 to 5. How can I turn this into my whole life?
Yeah. Well, I would start slowly. I'll just give you what I did, because this is the only advice I have, coming from what my experience was like. But just play it, enjoy it. Like don't rush into anything. I didn't pick up the paddle and then go pro. It took me like a few years to kind of figure it out. And, I started coaching, but as an assistant coach. So I heard lead coaches and what they had to say. And I went to a lot of camps as an assistant coach. I didn't say much, and I would put in my 2 cents, if I felt like it. But for the most part, I learned from like Robert Elliott from Engage, Marcin Respetsky. I learned from Jordan Briones. I watched a lot of his
He's
videos.
awesome.
He's amazing. So I was just kind of taking it all in. I went into every Facebook page that had pickleball in its title, like, you know what I mean? And I was just kind of absorbing it. And then I got out into the community by playing in the tournaments and traveling and when I could. And then when I was like, okay, I'm going to do it, I kind of quit everything, and I put myself in a place where I knew I could afford rent off of nothing. And, and there I went. I lived out of my car for a couple years. It's been quite an interesting story, but if you have sponsors that might want to support you, even mom and dad or whoever, that would be great. And I would start, at your level and then progress from there. I wouldn't like try to go into pro right away. I would try to, make little goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, what your ultimate goal is. And if it's to become pro, try not to get there in day one. Try to, really kind of absorb it and love it. And, go through that. It sucks because when you play against really good players and you get destroyed, all you do is get frustrated. So I would say play within your level and improve from there. Take lessons, do whatever you can. The videos and stuff are great online, but if you ever get to be, because you mentioned right before we jumped on that you got a lesson from Callie Joe Smith, like that must have been so awesome. How great was that?
It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, it's a whole other game for pros. Like, just because you're getting gold medals in 5.0 doesn't necessarily mean you're ready for pro. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm about to transition into playing some pro events. We got a pro medal, but it wasn't against the best in the world. So I'm still not considering myself a pro just because I'm starting to go on that. Like, it's another level. So, I mean, learning everything you can from the best of the best is like step one before you even believe you're ready to take them on. So great advice, not overdoing yourself, because that pressure you put on yourself, then when you get your butt handed to you over and over by people who know what they're doing at pro, it's only going to take away from you. So build up that confidence. And I like that you're mentioning that,
Drill, like drill, like,
nonstop.
yeah, the tennis transition for me was easy, but do you know how many days I drilled in tennis? Like how many times I hit a ball, like it's a million times. Like, and so I had to do that with, pickle, and just enjoy that. Enjoy, getting into a rhythm and being consistent and being accurate with your shots and being patient and not trying to overhit everything. Like just enjoy that, and play with people at your level and keep drilling and improving your skills. So I'm glad that you're in your journey, girl. Let's go, Sarah.
Yeah, let's go. I love it. It's so exciting. And, enjoying that journey is what you really got to focus on instead of getting too stuck on the outcome. I mean, we all want to be the best we can and all that stuff, but enjoy it while, like, my example that I always use, when you read a book, do you read a book just to get to the last page?
Right,
No.
right.
You read it for every single page along the way, the ups, the downs, the crying, the joy, all of that. So enjoy the book while you're reading it, And if you ever need an assistant coach, let me know.
Yes.
Man, I'll take your advice and I'm gonna put it on you. Let me test that.
Dude, when I was working at Naples Pickleball Center, there were so many people that just wanted to be right there, assisting just to get that knowledge, not even be in the clinic, but just to hear and listen and gain new things that maybe, you never heard of. Because people say things differently, and sometimes one person will say something and it'll click right away. And then the other person saying the exact same thing in a different way, and you're in la la land, you're lost.
Yeah.
So you never know. don't know who you.
JJ, my boyfriend, comes from tennis, and he's been trying to show me how to do a two-hand backhand drive and all this stuff. And it's been frustrating the crap out of me because I'm a quick learner, but it just wasn't sinking in.
Right.
Now, Callie Joe today gave me a couple little breakdowns of what I was doing. Boom, it clicked, perfect. I can
Well,
now
yeah.
breathe. I can now breathe and go drill properly with what I've been taught. So I'm so grateful for that. I could talk to you for so long. We've only got like 5 minutes left. So one of the first things I want to ask, as a coach, what are some of the biggest things that you want, beginners and intermediates to get so that they get a better grasp? And this is not necessarily to be pro, but to get a better grasp of the game. What are the most important things that they really need to work on, drill, and understand in the sport?
Yeah. So I always go by CAP, which means consistency, accuracy, patience, and I got that from my tennis director that I worked for that doesn't want to play pickleball, but he used to talk about CAP all the time. And what that is when you're working on any type of skill, you have to be able to master being consistent at it. It's okay if you make an error, but you have to understand why you make your errors. You have to understand why your shots are consistent. And so developing technique to be able to be consistent is a foundational tool for beginners that gets overlooked. Like your ready position has to be consistent. You can't have your paddle down, right? If you look at Callie Joe, because we've been talking about her paddle's right up here, ready to rock and roll every time. Just being caught, doing little things like that go a long ways as far as a beginner intermediate player. And once you have that, then you could start working on pinpointing your shots and playing higher percentage, which means you have to be patient and not try to bang everything. And so just being consistent, accurate, patience. That goes for beginner all the way to advanced when you're working on your skills or finding out what your shot selections are. So
Yeah, that's huge advice. Consistency. I mean, that's like the word you hear so much on the court is if you can get your consistency down, then you can get fancy. Don't worry
right.
about the fancy until you can do the same thing over and over and over. And I've heard that it takes 5,000 hours to master a skill. So
I would say
patience.
yes.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey. It's going to be a long one. If you have big goals, enjoy the journey. Embrace the 5,000 hours. You got to do it. You got to do it, and it's worth it. It's fun. I say putting in the work. It's barely work. It's just so fun. Me and JJ drill all night long, hitting the same shots over and over, and we're sweating and we're putting in the work. But it's so fun, so it's worth it. Put the time in. You might as well drill. You might as well find a partner who's as serious as you and get at it. Let's go.
There's no magic pill to have a beautiful drive the next day. You just got to put in the time.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. What's the future hold for Michelle Esquivel? What are you working on? What's coming up?
Yeah. So again, that main court app, follow main court, download the app. You could follow me on Instagram. You'll see me going to different facilities now. I'm going to be on the tour. I'm playing. My next one is North Carolina. I can't wait for that. I'm playing with my old school partner, Steve Deacon, and I'm super.
Oh, Canadian.
Yes, he's one of my favorites.
Super cool guy.
He's a great player and love him. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm starting that back up next month, and I'll be going on more pickleball getaways. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook. You could find out more there. And yeah, this is kind of what I'm doing right now, and I'm excited to get back on the court and compete again. It's been too long. I feel like I love being out there. So.
Everyone, this is the big Michelle announcement. She's back, baby. Let's go. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited to share that with the world because, I found out about you through the Holderness family. The video they made. I loved it so much. I'm like, who's Michelle Esquivel? And I looked you up and I'm like, she's awesome. Oh my God. I watched your videos and stuff like that. And I'm so glad that I reached out. This main court app is really what kind of brought us together. And, I got to have a conversation with you. Guys, she's very human, super cool, super down to earth, as you can already tell. Follow her, follow the main court, get on it. She's amazing. Michelle, thank you so much for hopping on the show. You're an amazing guest. And obviously, we are so excited to get you back on the court and see you rip and tear with Steve Deacon from Canada.
I love what you're doing, Sarah. Thank you for having me, and I love your show, and I'm very supportive of it, and continue doing great things. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always nice to have incredible support, and I appreciate it every step of the way. Thank you. Michelle, you rock. That was an amazing episode. And with that, this show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it.